Hello and welcome back. This is Ibrahim Qureshi and this is VMware tutorial for beginners. This is the continuation of session 4 and today we are going to learn how to install the vCenter. In the previous session 4 video which I did I explained you the different components of vCenter, what is PSE and what is the purpose of PSE and the different types. Let's quickly dive into some of the summary which I want to do. If you're joining me from this video, this training is for you. If you want to learn virtualization, if you have no IT background or experience, you're at the right place. I'm going to teach you everything from the basics, so just follow this video, and then obviously the other sessions are also available. Just search for them at the end of this video or the description and you'll find them. So the agenda for the VMware for beginners is available on SlideShare at this location, and you'll also find most of the stuff which I'm teaching you on the videos on my blog. So if you want to go through step by step, follow me on ibrahimqureshi.com, which is my blog. You also can reach out to me on Twitter, which is at Ibrahim Qureshi. So we covered in the previous session what is PSE, what is embedded PSE, what is external PSE. I've shown you how to download the vCenter from the VMware website. Yeah, if you're joining me from this video, please check the video, other video for session 4, which shows how to download the vCenter from the vCenter website, VMware website, sorry. And then obviously it shows you how to do some, gives you some understanding of the theory side of this. I want to cover some aspects of it on this video quickly. PSE, as we discussed in the previous video, is responsible for signing in. They're responsible for vCenter single sign-on. It also takes care of the licensing and certificate management of the vCenter. So in this video we are going to deploy the VCSA, which is vCenter Server Appliance, which is a Photon machine. The embedded deployment is the one which we are going to do today. So with the embedded environment, the VM which we are going to deploy is going to be a Photon Linux virtual machine, and it is going to have the platform services controller within the same VM. The other setup is external deployment for external platform services controller deployment. This is going to be discontinued from 6.7, so I suggest strongly not to use this option if you're doing a brand new installation or a brand new setup. We briefly discussed about the deployment types. We have tiny, small, medium and large. So we are going to do tiny today, let's get started. So I have downloaded my appliance over here from VMware website. We can right click and mount the ISO which we have downloaded, which basically comes up here as a disk which is mounted. If you open the disk, the VCSA is vCenter Server Appliance, vCenter Server Appliance, VCSA. The UI installer is the one we are looking for. UI installer, when you open that, you'll find Linux, Mac and Windows. Because I'm doing this setup or the installation using a Windows 10 machine, I'll use the Win32 version, and then I'll go down to the installer and I will double click on the installer to launch it. It's a straightforward process. You need to have a new IP address for your vCenter server, and you will need to have at least one ESXi host running in your environment so that you can deploy it. So in the previous video you also gone through these options. Install is for installing from as a new vCenter server, as it says. Upgrade is if you have a vCenter 6.0 running in your environment or 6.5, you can use this option to upgrade it. Migrate basically means if you have a Windows vCenter server and then you want to migrate to VCSA, which is vCenter Server Appliance, that's when you use this option. Restore is if you have a corrupted installation of vCenter, and then you can use this to restore it. Let's click install because this is what we are doing today. Deployment is a two-phase process. So basically what we are going to do is we are going to deploy the virtual machine in the phase 1, and then once it is deployed, you're going to log in and configure it. The second stage is configuration. So we can give it a target for a vCenter to install the vCenter server or a ESXi host. So next, accept the terms and condition, click next. Again, we saw this screen, it looks familiar, embedded PSC and external platform services controller. This is going to be depreciated from 6.7 and going forward it's having a separate PSC VM running is not going to be available. So I would strongly suggest to use embedded and then click next. In my environment I have got a ESXi server running, which is my physical ESXi server, which is running on 192.168.1.199. I am going to connect to it directly using root, which is a default user. When you get the SSL certificate warning, click yes to continue. Over here you need to give a name, vCenter 1 maybe, and then set a password. Once you give the password, click next, click next. I'm going to enable thin disk mode, and this is the data store we are going to use. It has 1.8 TB capacity and obviously 1.54 terabyte is free. So I have selected the network, VM network, IPv4, assignment is static, and the vCenter name is going to be, as we decided, vCenter01.vlab.local. The IP address we are going to install it is 10.96.1.10. Make sure the IP address is available in your network. So quick way to check is ping it and check. If it's not responding, obviously we need to be sure that that IP is available for you really. And then the subnet mask in my environment is, as it is a /24, is 255.255.255.0. This is my default gateway, 192.168.1.1, and then the DNS is also the same. Click next. It will give you a summary of everything which you have given so far. Just need to click finish and wait for the installation to complete. It will take around 10 minutes I think to install the stage 1, and then it will pop up a message saying you're ready to go to stage 2, and then you can obviously continue from there. The stage 2 is normally where you get an IP address saying okay, which we have given of course, which is 192.168.1.90. Hello, so I'm back. So the installation went through okay. It has successfully completed the stage 1, and now we are in stage 2. Just to give you an idea, in the stage 1 obviously we finished everything with the IP configuration till here, and we click finished, and then the next step, which I accidentally clicked continue, which is why I can't go back and show you, is it gave me this message saying installation stage 1 deployment. You have successfully deployed the vCenter with embedded platform services. To proceed to stage 2, you need to click continue. But you can, if you don't click continue and go ahead, you can always connect to the IP address and the port number 5480. This is always going to be the case. Whichever the vCenter you install, the name of the vCenter, if you have FQDN working, or the IP address of the vCenter, :5480 is the port number for administration purpose, for administrating the vCenter. So click continue, which I did, and I am on this stage now, stage 2. So stage 1 is completed, and we are just going to click next. So over here I'm going to enable, because I want HA to work, so it needs SSH to be working. Time I can synchronize with the NTP server or ESXi host. My ESXi host already got the NTP server in there, so I'm fine with that. Click next. So single sign-on domain vsphere.local. You can have vlab.vsphere.local, or you can just have vsphere.local. This is the SSO domain. The password for this one can be different to the root password, but make sure you remember this. If not, it's a headache to retrieve it. Obviously there are ways to retrieve it, but it's better you remember this. To log into the vCenter server, we need to use administrator @vsphere.local, or whichever domain you choose to have. If you do have like another domain you created, like live.vsphere.local or dev.vsphere.local, my lab has vlab.vsphere.local, but for this example I'm just going to say vsphere.local, which means administrator @vsphere.local. That's it. I'm just going to put a password here, and then so creating a new SSO domain, this is what we are doing. But if you already have an SSO domain and you are increasing adding another PSC, or adding this vCenter to the existing vCenter SSO domain, then you have to use join to an existing SSO domain. Then you need to remember the SSO password which you gave to the older domain. Only then you will be able to add a new vCenter to the existing SSO domain. So remember that. Click next. So this is the customer experience improvement program. If you choose to be a part of it, leave it selected and click next, and you're all set. You just need to give finish, and then you will get your vCenter up and running on this IP address. So you will be able to pause, stop, install, complete. Once it started, click OK to continue, or cancel to stop. So we are going to click OK to continue. So you can see the services being started now. Authentication framework. You can see the VMware authentication framework being started now. This might take some while, so I'm going to pause the video and let this go through, and then without touching anything, without clicking anything, I'll restart the video, and then we'll go and continue from there. So only other step would be to connect to the vCenter to the IP address which you specified, or the DNS if you have the DNS running, and log in using administrator @vsphere.local. I'll also show you how to quickly add a ESXi host, because we did install a ESXi host previously. I think the IP address was 60, I think, if I'm not wrong. So I'm going to try and add that ESXi host to this vCenter, because I removed it from the older vCenter. So that's what we can do. So it's only at 5%. So let me pause this video now. So that's the VMware single sign-on user creation service. It's starting. It's actually good to see all the services going by, which are getting started. There's at least 10 or 15 services which runs on each vCenter, more or less, even more I would say. So I'm not going to pause it then and have a chat with you guys and let this go through for a while, so that we can see all the services. Starting VMware Analytics service. So vCenter itself, the VCSA, vCenter Server Appliance, has an internal database. It's Postgres database which he uses, PostgreSQL internally. So as you can see, VMware license services is starting now. VMware service control agent, so it's 25% done already. Endpoint, forgot to put the jack in. It's plugged in the microphone jack in now. I forgot that, but hopefully the audio recording shouldn't be that bad. So let's see. So we are 50% there, nearly there, 42%, so nearly 50% there. vCenter services, hooray! So VMware vCenter services are starting now. I wouldn't bother trying to connect at this point. We would need to wait for the entire vCenter to be set up and up and running before we try and connect. So these are some of the certificate management, some of the stuff which is managed by PSC, certificate management and identity, and the SSO are all managed by the vCenter PSC. The web service, on the other hand, is managed by the vCenter server. In the background, let's get prepared to connect to this vCenter. .90. So as I said, to connect to the administration site, you need to give 5480. So that should take you to the administration page, see, and also over here it will ask you for the password because you're connecting to it. And it's basically going to show you the same thing here as well, which we are doing here. So it's 60% done, and even on the web browser, if you connect to the admin page, it's saying 60% done. But this is the other way of doing it. If you accidentally close the setup, you don't need to redeploy it. You just need to go to the vCenter server IP address :5480, and then you'll be asked for the root password, and then you can start configuring it from there. So it's just all the bits which we went through just now, the SSO password, and whether it's a new SSO or it's a SSO which already exists and you're joining to it. So those sort of things you need to configure there. VMware Content Library Services is starting now. Okay guys, so the setup is completed. It's gone 100% successfully. So this is what I have noticed, that the has been completely. It came up with an error message that it was unable to restart the vCenter appliance successfully, but the vCenter appliance was in a process of reboot when the message came, and I think it has rebooted now successfully. That's why the message has disappeared. Now if you notice, it says 4town-machine because I didn't give any DNS name there, but we know this is not the right name. The right name is the right IP address is what we have given on the time during the installation. So let's close this. We know the IP, but let's leave it for a moment before we go there. Let's just quickly see. It has failed. So there you go. On the web client, it's coming up with the message, failed to restart appliance management web services. So I'm not bothered about this. Let's quickly go and see. There you go. 192.168.1.90. so it has successfully connected. We can launch the HTML5 client from here. Allow Flash to run. So we give again administrator at vSphere.local. It's waiting to connect. Should log us in. Nearly there. So this is our first vCenter installation complete. Really, we can just close this and close the setup which I had here somewhere. There you go, close, because the installation is completed. There you go. Our vCenter server is running and it is on 60 days license period. What we can do is we can quickly create a new data center here called London, and then create a cluster SA London, site A London. We can leave these options disabled, turn on DRS and all that. HA maybe we can turn on. Leave this disabled and click OK. Now if you remember, we did installation of a host on my previous session, and I'm going to try and add that host 192.168.1.60 if I'm not wrong. Root password. This is a nested ESX which we did. Click yes to continue, and yeah, that's the right IP address. So VMware ESXi 6.7, just the latest build. Click next. Licensing information, we are going to use evaluation. So we did that installation like 8 days ago, I guess, so it's saying it's at 52 days remaining. For now, disable lockdown mode. Next, we are going to add it in here, within here. Next, and that's it. Finish. So in a minute you'll see it appearing here. So this is your brand new vCenter with a brand new host connected to the vCenter now. And the host is on maintenance mode, which is what we have to put it on when you're not using or when you're moving it from one vCenter to another. So exit maintenance mode. There you go. This is your first host connected to your brand new vCenter server. So exciting, isn't it? So you got your vCenter running, you got your host attached now, so you're almost ready for the next session. What we'll do is we'll start the next session with some VM installations within this new setup which we have. If you have any questions, reach out to me on Ibrahim Qureshi at on Twitter at Ibrahim Qureshi. You can follow me on my blog or the vCenter setup which I have completed today. It's now going to be available on my blog, which is ibrahimqureshi.com. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and share it, comment on it, and ask your friend to share on their social media as well. So I want to get into the habit of asking a question at the end of the video. So today's question is, what are the two options for deploying vCenters? So if you remember, there are two options to install a vCenter. So I want you to comment below and let me know whether you remember it. Okay then, really enjoyed doing this video. I hope you guys enjoy obviously learning it along with me. Thanks, bye.